Provo Beast here doing another install today. Today we're doing a 95 Cadillac Deville. This is the 4-door version. This Deville does not have the premium sound system. It's just a basic non-Bose stereo system. Today we're replacing this DIN and a half with a single DIN Bluetooth radio. We're going to go ahead and get this all pulled out. We'll show you how to hook up the new radio, get everything wired, and do a little test. Alright, first things first is we got to remove this radio. Now make sure if you do have a tape deck, tape is removed. We're going to remove this trim panel piece and get to the stereo mounting area. Now just using a panel tool like I have here, or your fingers or a screwdriver, but be careful. Just work your way around this trim piece on the outside or the inside, and you can just really work it loose. Only held on with clips, as you can see here. Once you have that trim panel released there, and you can see the actual stereo here, you'll notice there's these tabs you can bend back on both sides, which kind of release the little pin, allowing this radio just to come slide right on out. Now you'll notice here you'll need to unplug your harnesses and your antenna. We're going to show you what harness you'll need, what antenna adapter you'll need to make the new radio work. Alright, here we are at the test bench. What we're going to be doing is assembling all the harnesses, getting everything wired up. We're going to be using this dual single DIN Bluetooth radio with a DVD screen on the front end. With this install, we're going to show you how to put everything together, get it wired up in preparation of the actual install in the vehicle. Go ahead and check out the link in the description where we did this unboxing of this radio. Also, we're using today the Scosche install kit. This is the GM1504. We have our wiring harness. We're using the Metra 70-1858. Then the universal antenna kit, which houses the same Motorola connection as needed in our Cadillac. Let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so what we're going to be doing here with our wiring harness and the harness that came with our new radio, we're going to be matching these colors up. Basically strip them on both ends and just use wiring connectors to attach both ends together. We're going to show you what that looks like. Alright, so we went ahead and connected all the wires, basically color for color. Now what we did is use these butt connectors, stripped both ends, and then put a nice little crimp in it. Now I have a nice little crimper. That's a good way to do it, just so you have a solid connection. Here's some wire strippers, typically what you need for this. We're going to zip tie everything up and get it all cleaned up here. Now we didn't use this guy, it's the illumination wire. Our radio did not have illumination. Another thing, it has a video playback since it is a DVD player. So what we've done is just grounded that DVD wire just so you can view that while not worrying about putting the parking brake on. So use discretion with that, it's totally up to you. This guy here is not illumination, but it is labeled as the reverse gear input, and basically I'm having that ready because this customer also wants that done on this vehicle. So this is all good to go. We're going to clean up the wiring here. Next thing here, we're going to go ahead and get our dash kit all put together, get a radio mounted in the dash kit, and show you from that point. Alright, at this point we went ahead and got our dash kit all pulled apart. Now per our instructions, we put our kit together. This is actually the trim piece around the factory radio I pulled out. There really wasn't a solid way to mount this in the cavity. So what I ended up doing is just hot gluing up and around. I'm a little creative. Just those pieces are together to really hold it in there snug. Now obviously there's multiple other ways to do that. The reason I chose hot glue is because if it doesn't work out, I can remove the hot glue and just peel it off. We should be fine. But we're going to go ahead, we got that kit all together, we got our radio in our kit, and again just follow the instructions that come with your kit. At this point I've also got our wiring harness ready and our antenna adapter, and the ones that we're going to need since it's a universal one is the GM one and the Motorola connection. So let's go ahead and head to the car itself and start getting things put together. Alright, here we are back in the car. I've also, as you notice, ran a pair of RCAs and a backup camera video wire just in case the customer wants to add an amplifier at another time. He also wants to do a backup camera, so I have run this wire, and this wire adjacent with our backup camera wire will plug into the same area where the camera receives power when the car is in reverse, to switch it over into the reverse camera mode. But if you don't have this, don't worry about it. This is just extra. I can kind of show you how I'll wire this in later on. All right, so here's our harness that plugged in. As you notice, you're gonna only use these 3 plugs. For this 4th one that sits up there, kind of gets in the way. So you can actually unplug it completely, and then our new harness will plug into those 3 ports. And then here's our antenna, and that's why we needed that adapter, because that doesn't fit in our new radio. So our adapter goes on there. And let's go ahead and get the kit in. All right, I have plugged in our little harness as well as our antenna adapter. Let's go ahead and get this radio all plugged in. All right, so I plugged in all the harnesses. I plugged in the main harness, our subwoofer RCAs, our backup camera wire, our antenna, and like I said, the main harness. And just pressure alone around this dash piece, this thing is solid. I'm not going to go anywhere, so my little hot glue little trick there seemed to do just fine. All right, let's do a little test here. So I'm going to throw the key in the ignition. There we are.
Thank you, folks. The next song we're going to do.
There you go, a little bit of radio, but all works well. Now in the description, if you have any questions about what parts we used, I'll list all the part numbers down below. Just search them either on Amazon or eBay to find a good deal for them. That's it for the install. Now, of course, if you were not doing a backup camera, you can stop here. I appreciate you watching. But if you are thinking about a backup camera in this type of DeVille, go ahead and continue to tune in here. We're going to show you how to run cabling to the back and begin to get that mounted. All right, well, hey, thanks for sticking around if you want to check out how I'm going to do the backup camera here. So, in the previous segment, we've run the wire from our radio, and what I did is just ran it back, and it drops out from the dash there. Now, as you notice, I'm going to run it right underneath the carpet. Now, you can go up underneath the dash. That works just fine, too. But essentially, we're going to work our backup camera wire and just our generic pair of RCAs along the kick panel and work our way back to the rear of the vehicle. Now this vehicle, the license plate, since it's the license plate camera we're installing, is up here up top. So as you notice, we're gonna have to go through some split loom up to the trunk hatch, the back of the trunk lid, and run our wiring up there. But at least for now, that's a good start, and we're gonna get going. Okay, up here underneath, I've just tucked that way down deep underneath the carpet, worked my way around, and made it to about here. Now, you don't have to take the panel off completely. You can just get the wiring up and just tuck it all the way back underneath the paneling, heading towards the rear of the vehicle. All right, so we finished tucking it all the way down here. Now, this seat kind of pulls up just a tad, giving us a little bit of access. And as you can see here, we pulled this guy on back, and then we just fed it up through, and it came out. Oh, kind of blurry for you. Sorry about that. There you go. Came out that direction. So we have our RCAs for our future amplifier and our long RCA for the license plate. Reverse camera. We're going to get a little bit more light back here, but we're going to continue on. All right, so I've laid the side down just so I have nice access. I'm going to zip tie that video cable all the way along here. Now I've undone these little anchors for our split loom into the trunk lid, just so I can sneak that wire up into that split loom so it looks nice and factory. We're going to feed it up in here and work our way back. Now additionally, pop your license plate off, and then there's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 screws and a bolt. Whoa, let's see if I can help you there. Bolt here, there, and a bolt here. And what that does, allows this to come free. Drill the little hole right there. to feed my backup camera wire through. Sorry about the lighting, by the way. And then here's the grommet. I'm gonna poke a little hole through that grommet to feed these wires through, just so it remains kind of a sealed look, so there's no moisture leakage that'll come out this area. And then we're gonna feed that wire to connect it into our backup camera wire. So this connects into the yellow wire of the backup camera. Now you notice that the backup camera is also a red guy. With the kit came a red power plug, and we're gonna plug that guy into the reverse gear light. All right, here we are. So with this all off, now at this point, we gotta get power to our camera. Now what I've done here is, this is our reverse gear light, and basically it's only on when the car's in reverse, which is perfect for us because that's when we want our camera to switch over and receive power, and also our radio to switch over and show what the camera is seeing. So I've cut this. Green is positive, black is negative. This is the reverse light because we've pulled this out. It's kind of hanging there for the time being, but basically I've cut it, stripped the wires, and I've kind of tapped into it because I'm tapping in positive and negative. That's going to plug into the camera to provide it power when we're in a reverse. Also at the same time, remember our RCA has an adjacent little red wire. Well, we're going to connect that red wire also to the positive, and that tells the radio to be in reverse, and that tells the camera to turn on when we are in reverse, and basically operates the whole system automatically. So as we got this put in, and once we got our wires all together, I'm going to crimp these ends back on and wrap it really well with electrical tape just so it's protected from the elements. All right, so I got that all connected and taped up, and this is where that power wire went into the red end of our camera. And this green wire, don't let that confuse you. My red wire was going to be a little bit short on this guy that goes to the radio, so I had some extra green wire there, and I'm going to extend that, and that will just plug as I put a little connector on there once I get it all wired into that red guy. Hopefully that doesn't confuse you too much, but basically this guy goes to that red wire, which goes to the radio and tells the radio to go into reverse. And then this other one is power and ground for the camera. Now I've basically got everything where I need it to. This end right here, I'm going to feed up through this grommet area, so it goes into the vehicle itself, and then work my video cable up into the rear of the vehicle, plug into this yellow connector, and then that red wire will plug into the green wire, and we're done. Get everything back together. All right, I fed those wires kind of through that grommet there. Everything's all cleaned up and hooked together. Still got a little bit of slack left on my camera because I need to adjust it. Basically on this end, I can get a good shot of it. This is where our camera output is, and this plugs into that red wire, which I have down here. I'm going to make my way up into the trunk to plug into that area. All right, so I've tucked it up inside the split loom here, and I put these connectors back on. As you can see there, it comes out. Then with just a hanger, so I could fish the wire up through this little channel here, and it came out in this area. Now I'm going to connect our video to our video there, and then our radio trigger wire for the reverse to that trigger wire that I wired in the previous segment. All right, here we are. So I got the video cable plugged in, and I got our radio trigger also plugged in, and that, remember, that goes down through the split loom. Got everything zip tied, cleaned up, so it's time for reassembly. Now go ahead and make sure you test. I'll show a final test here at the end of the video, but I know this all works great. I'm going to clean up all the wiring. We're going to get this wiring tucked up underneath so it's out of the way, and get everything put back together just in reverse order. All right, so we got our camera all mounted right there, good to go. Wiring all cleaned up, all back together. All right, here we are. Let's do a final test with our backup camera. Everything's put back together. Mind you, the trunk is still open, but there we are. Boots up. Put it in reverse. Here we are. Just looking up at the garage windows because the trunk lid's still open, but hey, no worries. It looks great. Radio's in there nice and solid, super clean. If you have any questions about this install, just go ahead and post a comment below. Thanks again for watching the channel, you guys. I love the support, and we will certainly see you in the next video.